certainly we approached Mitch to engage him on a contract, as is his right. Mitch and his representative wanted to wait until the year was done, and as it became clearer and clearer to us that potential may not be there, we tried to look at alternatives, right?
The real reason Mitch Marner left the Toronto Maple Leafs didn't show up in headlines until now. Leaked reports, secret talks, and sudden trades reveal a story that's hard to believe. It's not just about money or stats, it's about what happened behind closed doors and who knew the truth all along. The details are finally out, and they're worse than expected.
I think that the day prior we got offered a trade to go somewhere else. My wife was 7 or 8 months pregnant at the time, and we weren't really going to go somewhere that was maybe just going to be a short stint. If we were going somewhere, we were going to sign for an extension, raise our child there and grow up there. And then we kind of heard that Vegas might be interested in doing a 3-way deal.
On June 30th, 2025, Mitch Marner was traded from the Toronto Maple Leafs to the Vegas Golden Knights. It was part of a sign-and-trade deal. He signed an 8-year, $96 million contract with Toronto. Then, they sent him to Vegas. In return, the Leafs got forward Nicholas Roy. At the time, Marner said leaving Toronto was not easy. On Instagram, he posted, "Leaving isn't easy. Wearing the maple leaf on my chest wasn't just about playing for a team. It was about representing my home." Marner had played for Toronto since 2016. He grew up in nearby Markham, Ontario. During his time with the Maple Leafs, Marner played 657 regular season games. He scored 221 goals and gave 520 assists, totaling 741 points. That's one of the best records on the team. Things were different in the playoffs. Marner only had 63 points in 70 playoff games. Many fans and experts said that was not enough, especially for how much money he earned. Just a few days after the trade, more details came out. They changed how people saw Marner's exit. On the Cam and Strick podcast, Ryan Reeves, Marner's former teammate, shared more about the situation. He said fans in Toronto were a little ruthless to Marner. Reeves said, "Mitchie earned the right to go wherever he wants. He's dedicated his whole career to Toronto." Reeves made it clear that the pressure from fans was too much. He said people pointed fingers at Marner every time the team lost. That wasn't the only thing that happened. A report from Strickland said Marner had been thinking about Vegas for over a year. Even when he was still playing for Toronto, he was already talking to teammates about going to the Golden Knights. Some Leafs players knew, some didn't. But the locker room was clearly split. Toronto's general manager, Brad Treliving, has not said much about the trade publicly, but analysts believe he was frustrated. NHL insider Matt Larkin said the Leafs' offseason was a massive failure. He said they did not bring in enough new talent to replace Marner. Toronto tried to sign players like Nikolai Ehlers and Brock Boeser. Both signed with other teams. Now, Toronto has about $4.9 million in cap space left, and no one to fill Marner's spot on the top line. Nicholas Roy, the player they got in the trade, had 15 goals and 16 assists last season. He is a good player, but not close to Marner's level. Toronto also signed Matias Maccelli. Still, fans and media say the team looks weaker than before. Some Leafs players may have known Marner was leaving long before it happened. At the end of the season, during the exit interviews, William Nylander was asked how he felt about Marner possibly leaving. He laughed and joked about it, but when he was asked about John Tavares, his tone changed. He became serious. He called Tavares a great leader. The difference in his answers showed something important. Some players might have been fine with Marner going. The most shocking part is what happened with Ryan Reeves. Just 24 hours after he defended Marner and said fans were too hard on him, he was traded. Reeves was talking about Marner at a Vegas Golden Knights event, even though he was still a Toronto Maple Leaf. Some fans and experts say that didn't sit well with Treliving. It looked like Reeves was choosing sides. And in the new Leafs culture, that was not okay. Brad Treliving seems to be building a new kind of team. He wants players who are fully committed to Toronto. No distractions, no drama. The Marner-Reeves situation shows that clearly. Reeves said, "Sometimes fans want to point fingers. And in this case, it looks like the front office did too. Meanwhile, Vegas has added another top player to their already strong roster. Head coach Bruce Cassidy said he's excited to coach Marner. He said Marner's passing and creativity would help the team. Vegas now has stars like Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, and Mitch Marner in one lineup. This could be one of the strongest teams in the league. Some analysts still believe Toronto can be a contender. On TSN's FanDuel Overdrive, Jason Demers said, "You look at Craig Berube and the style he's implemented. You look at defense. You can win a cup without having 100-point goal scorers." That's a strong opinion, but many fans are not convinced. Toronto's offseason moves have left many fans confused and upset. The team has not won a Stanley Cup since 1967. They've had one of the most expensive rosters in the league. But year after year, the results are the same. Early playoff exits. The Maple Leafs culture was already under question. The leak about Marner planning his move to Vegas long in advance only made things worse. It showed a lack of trust and unity inside the team. When a key player is talking about leaving while still wearing the jersey, that creates problems. The exit has also damaged the fan base's trust. Mitch Marner was a local hero. He played for the team he grew up watching. Fans bought his jersey. Kids looked up to him. Now, many of those fans feel betrayed. Patrick Marleau, a former Leaf, once told Marner to chase every dollar. Ryan Reeves told him about all the good things about playing in Vegas. Those conversations happened while Marner was still with the Leafs, and they matter now because they show how long this plan may have been in place. Toronto's front office had been trying to trade Marner before, but his no-movement clause made it hard. He had the legal right to stay with the team if he wanted to, and he did, at least until now. Once his new contract was ready and the sign and trade became possible, things moved fast. But the signs were there earlier. Locker room tension, playoff frustration, and a team that no longer felt like a team. Ryan Reeves said, "Mitch earned the contract he got. He poured everything into the Leafs." But some former teammates didn't seem to agree. In Vegas, Marner gets a fresh start. No hometown pressure, no local media storm, just hockey. And for the Maple Leafs, it's a reset, one with more questions than answers. Now, Toronto must face the next season without one of their biggest stars. Their offense will need to find new ways to score. Their locker room will need to find new leaders. And fans will have to decide how they feel about the truth that finally came out. No one knows how this will end. But what's clear now is this. Mitch Marner's exit wasn't just about a trade. It was about pressure, planning, and a locker room that fell apart quietly until now.
As you said, yeah, it's only been a couple days since the season ended. Take some time to regroup. Talk to my agent a little bit and family and all that, and make some decisions whenever that time comes. But there's no rush.
Connor McDavid told reporters he wasn't in a rush to talk contracts. Now, weeks later, there's been nothing. With the team in off-season limbo and big names signing elsewhere, McDavid's silence now speaks louder than ever. The Oilers are waiting. The fans are waiting. But the captain still isn't saying anything. McDavid's silence is now a problem. And this silence could change everything for the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid is the captain of the Edmonton Oilers. He is one of the best hockey players in the world. McDavid has played his whole NHL career in Edmonton since the team picked him first in the 2015 NHL Draft. His current contract is an 8-year deal worth $100 million. That deal ends in July 2026. Right now, McDavid still has 1 year left on that contract. He will be allowed to sign a new deal starting on July 1st, 2025. If he does not sign, he becomes a free agent in 2026. That means any team in the league could offer him a deal. But so far, McDavid has not said if he will stay or leave. After the Oilers lost in the 2025 Stanley Cup Final to the Florida Panthers, reporters asked McDavid about his future. He answered, "It's only been a couple days since the season ended. I'm going to take some time to regroup. but there's no rush on anything like that. He also said, "If I feel there's a good window to win here over and over again, then signing is no problem." That was the last time he spoke about it. McDavid's numbers this season were very strong. He had 74 assists in the regular season. He scored 33 points in 22 playoff games. He had 7 goals and 26 assists. His teammate Leon Draisaitl had the same playoff point total, but McDavid still hasn't said what he will do about his contract. The fans don't know. The team doesn't know. Other NHL teams are now watching closely. Stan Bowman is the general manager of the Oilers. He said, "He's the best player in the league, most important player in the league. He's our captain. He's our leader." Bowman said the team's #1 priority is to keep McDavid. He also said the contract talks will happen when McDavid is ready. But NHL free agency is already moving fast. Teams are signing players. The Oilers have to make choices about who to keep, who to sign, and how to build next season's team. But without knowing what McDavid wants, the team can't plan fully. That has caused a problem. If McDavid leaves, it could be a very big problem. The Oilers have made the playoffs 6 years in a row. They made the Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row, but they lost both times. Some sports writers are saying McDavid might not want to wait much longer. If he doesn't think the team can win soon, he could decide to go somewhere else. Leon Draisaitl, McDavid's teammate and top scorer, signed a new deal last year. That deal is for 8 years and $112 million. If McDavid stays, he will likely make even more. Some reports say McDavid could become the highest-paid player in the league, but that would mean the team has less money to spend on other players. If McDavid stays quiet much longer, the Oilers could be forced to trade him. They won't want to lose him in free agency for nothing. That's why some experts are saying the team needs to know soon. One article said McDavid's silence is wrecking the Oilers' free agency plans. Jeff Jackson is the CEO of the Oilers. He also used to be McDavid's agent. He said the next season will help decide everything. The team will wait, but not forever. Other teams, like the Toronto Maple Leafs and Florida Panthers, are already being mentioned as possible new homes for McDavid. Right now, every NHL team is watching. If McDavid doesn't say anything by the start of the season, the rumors will grow. Teams will begin making offers. Fans will keep asking questions. Even McDavid's teammates might start to worry. The Oilers had a record of 48 wins, 29 losses, and 5 overtime losses this past season. That was good enough to make the playoffs. They went all the way to the finals, but lost to the Panthers in 6 games. McDavid led the team in assists and was one of the top playoff performers in the entire league. But now all of that is in the past. The team needs to know what comes next. Free agents are being signed by other teams. The Oilers can't wait forever. And yet, McDavid says nothing. The pressure is building.
You know, I know people are going to look at that July 1 day and be looking to see if there's anything done. But for me, I'm just not in a rush that way.
Something big is coming to hockey, and it's not just about one team. On July 1st, Connor McDavid will make a move no one saw coming. That move could change how the best players in the league get paid. It will break a rule that stars have followed for years. What happens next may change the NHL forever.
You know, winning would be it's the most important thing. If I feel that there's a good window to win here over and over again, then signing is no problem.
Connor McDavid is one of the best hockey players in the world. He plays for the Edmonton Oilers. He has scored more than 100 points in many seasons. He has won the MVP award 3 times. He led the Oilers to the Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row. But on July 1st, the big story won't be about goals or assists. It will be about money, contracts, and something much bigger. McDavid signed his last contract in 2017. It was an 8-year deal worth $100 million. That means he has been making $12.5 million every year. This deal ends in 2026. But NHL rules say a player can start talking about a new contract 2 years before the old one ends. So on July 1st, 2025, McDavid will be allowed to sign a new deal. Most top players sign the longest deal possible. That's usually 8 years. It gives them more safety and helps the team plan for a long time. But this time, McDavid is expected to do something very different. Reporters say that McDavid might not want a long contract. Instead, he could ask for a shorter one, maybe just 4 years. Some people even say he could sign for only 2 or 3 years. This is something very few superstars have done. Why would McDavid want a short deal? The answer is the salary cap. The salary cap is the most money a team can spend on its players. This year, the cap is $88 million. Next year, it will go up to $97 million. In a few years, it might go even higher. If McDavid signs a short contract now, he can sign another one later when the cap is much bigger. That means he could make even more money. Other players have done this. Austin Matthews signed a 5-year deal in 2019. In 2023, he signed a 4-year deal. Leon Draisaitl just signed an 8-year deal for $112 million. But McDavid might want something shorter than all of them. Connor McDavid hasn't said much about his plans, but he did say this to NHL.com after the season. "I'm not in a rush to make any decision." He also said, "I need to do what's best for me and my family." These are clues that he is thinking very carefully. The Edmonton Oilers also know what's happening. Their new general manager, Stan Bowman, says he wants to keep McDavid. But McDavid said something important. He said, "If I feel that there's a good window to win here over and over again, then signing is no problem." That means he wants to be sure the team can keep winning. If McDavid signs a short deal, he will be a free agent again in 2029 or 2030. That means other teams will have a chance to try and sign him. Teams like the Maple Leafs, Panthers, Kings, and Flyers might all be watching. If McDavid becomes a free agent, they might try to get him. Experts are saying this could change how NHL contracts work. Sports writer Pierre LeBrun said, "There's a good chance McDavid will sign a shorter deal instead of an 8-year max one." ESPN's Greg Wyshynski said, "It's not just about money, it's about power and timing." Connor McDavid had another amazing season. In 2024 to 2025, he scored 100 points in 67 games. In the playoffs, he scored 33 points in 22 games. That was the most in the league. He was named playoff MVP, even though the Oilers lost in the finals. Because of his great numbers, McDavid is more valuable than ever. If he signs a short deal, he can sign again in a few years for a lot more money. Some people believe he could make over $18 million per year in his next deal. That would be the highest ever in NHL history. This kind of deal gives the player more power. Usually teams like long contracts, but short deals let players choose more often. They can pick better teams or wait for the salary cap to go up. That's why this is such a big deal. Right now, McDavid has a $12.5 million cap hit. If he signs again soon, that number could go way up. If he waits, it might go even higher. And that's why this decision is so important. It affects not just him, but the whole NHL. Some reporters say McDavid may take a deal with only 2 or 3 years. That would give him the chance to test the market again very soon. And if he wins a Stanley Cup in that time, he could leave Edmonton as a free agent and pick any team he wants. Connor McDavid's next contract could change everything. It might change how young players sign their first big deals. It might change how teams plan their future. And it might change how much money top stars can make. This is why so many people are watching July 1st. That's the day McDavid is allowed to start contract talks. If he signs a short deal, other players may copy him. That could mean big changes in the NHL's old contract system. And if McDavid does leave Edmonton in a few years, it could be one of the biggest moves in NHL history. Teams will spend a lot of money to get a player like him. But right now, the Oilers still have a chance to keep him. Whether he signs for 2 years, 4 years, or 8 years, McDavid is changing the game, not just on the ice, but at the contract table. He didn't need to say a lot. Just by thinking about a short deal, he has already made waves across the NHL. On July 1st, the hockey world will be watching because what Connor McDavid chooses to do next might change everything.